are giving us latest example. So please don't miss that. Okay. So collaboration. Okay, collaborating with others. We can do one thing like each one of us read one book and then meet together and summarize. I mean, knowledge multiplied 4 times. Is it not possible? It's possible. We got to do it. If it doesn't become a fad among teachers, forget about students. It is unfair to expect from students then. Communication. This is another, skills of 21st century what we need to have, and creativity. These 4 are the main skills required in 21st century. I am sure the other speakers who are going to talk specifically on this will mention in detail. But remember and ask this question: am I giving this to my kids, to my students? Somehow, at least am I giving the attitude to get into this direction? I am making them aware that these are the things will matter in their career. Not just the information what they are gaining here, not just the marks what they are getting here. Beyond first year of your job, marks do not help. Marks maximum can help you in getting into an organization, and after that the whole journey has to be traveled as per our competency, our ability to deliver. And there we need these things. I have never been asked by any of my employer, I was employed 2 places, how many marks did you get? Although I got decent marks. Nobody ever asked. I feel some of the good students would be thinking, पूरा जिंदगी इतना मेहनत लगा के इतना अच्छा मार्क्स लाया, कोई पूछता ही नहीं. Nobody is asking. Because they want delivery. And delivery depends on these 4 things in today's world. Okay. There are few techniques I am just mentioning. I will not go into details. KWL chart, I am sure some of you might have heard of it. What I know, what I want to know, what I learn. These are the charts. Okay. In lesson planning, we need to know these fundamentals. So KWL charts, then Maslow's hierarchy of need, very popular. Edward de Bono's thinking hats. I have mentioned these things in the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint presentation will be here so that some of you may Google them and try to learn them on later. Mind maps, very important. It can help the students to learn things faster, make them interesting, make them colorful. Do a lot of project things where you have some mind maps fixed in your classroom. Based on the topics, you can involve students, give them some interesting work. Student-centered learning is the theme of the era. PBL, project-based learning. Now here are some limitations I would say. See, all these techniques what I am telling, they are mostly prescribed by West. And we have to be very, very circumspect that how many of these techniques are really applicable in Indian scenario. Because in West you have 25-20 students and you have huge infrastructure and time, and limitations are not the way here we have. So I cannot tell you that okay, there are 50 students or 100 students in your batch and you focus only on project-based learning, practically not feasible. No, a teacher cannot focus on so many students and their projects. I mean, your whole time will be killed in that. So I do not prescribe all the techniques given by West in an Indian model. In Indian model, I think above all that, telling story to shaping attitude is the highest skill our teacher need to have. Because that gives you an advantage to impact so many lives in short time. Every day telling an inspiring story, an inspiring incident, I will not say story, incident, and learning how to tell it in an inspiring way. Now I give an example here, please press it. An example here of a man called Uday Dravid. Okay, this is a real story. A man named S. Nanendran, he passed from his NIT. Was a very good, this is an old story, about 30-35-year-old story. He passed as a very bright young man and got a job in Apollo Tires, a job in sales and marketing. And as he got his job, he was doing very well, everybody was appreciating and he was looking for a great future ahead, was very hard-working man with right attitude. Once what happens that he was traveling from Meerut to Delhi and his two-wheeler, he meets with an accident. And he finds himself in the hospital next day. When he regains his consciousness, he realizes he has lost his 2 legs. Gone, lower legs gone. Once he realizes that, he goes into complete depression. He says, what is this? My life is just stuck. I worked so hard to come here. I was thinking of doing this and that. And what is this? And he starts getting into wrong kind of questioning why this happened with me. Questions which have no answer. It's foolish to ask those questions. So again and again getting into that mode, goes into complete depression. His family members, friends, office colleagues, everybody tries to motivate him, but he simply refuses to listen to them. At that moment, his boss, whose name was Udyan Dravid, walks into his cabin. What's his name? What was his name? Whose story I am talking? S. Narendra. Okay. So Udyan Dravid walks in. And Udyan Dravid, being the boss, he walks in and he looks at this boy who's lying on the bed without the leg. He says, "Oh Narendra, I'm so sorry, I heard about you." And this boy, as he looks at the boss, he starts crying. "Sir, you know, my career is over. I don't know why this happened to me," and gets into all that mode. And Udyan Dravid thinks, now I have to get him up. Somehow I have to make him move. So after his whole crying is over, Udyan Dravid goes there, keeps his hand on his shoulders, and says, "I want you to listen what I am going to say right now very carefully." And he says, "You know, when I came to Apollo Tires, our turnover was 80 crores. And we were minus 50 CR on our balance sheet. 80 crore turnover minus 50 CR on our balance sheet. Today, the turnover has come to 300 crores. And we are plus 60 crores. I may be wrong with numbers, doesn't matter. We have come to plus 60 crores. And I want you to know, Narendra, I want you to know that you get it from minus 50 to plus 60 or from 80 to 300. I have never ever used my legs." He says that and he walks out. And this makes this S. Narendra thinking, actually, where do I need my legs to be? And now he starts thinking in a reverse way. Maybe with legs I could do 1,000 things. Without legs I would do 900 things. Rather than trying about 1,000 things or 100 things which I cannot do, let me focus on the 900 things which I can do. And from there, reversal starts. From depression, getting into positive zone. The man went on to become head of sales and marketing of Apollo Tires, then head of sales and marketing TVS Motors, then CEO of TVS Motors, and now he is running his own industry successfully. Art of communicating. Not just saying, "Beta, don't worry, this will happen." No. I have to learn how should I say. People listen. This art has to be consciously honed. I have to sit and work about my sentences. How will I start in my class that class will listen? You know, in public speaking they say you can start, there are different kind of openings. Startling statement. Startle the class with something very, very startling. Mysterious statement. Create a mystery which will be revealed during the class. Starting with an exciting story. Stories excites everyone. There are many such openings which we were taught during my training. I have to plan when I am talking something. That okay, this is the plan today, but what is my delivery style? Have I ever thought about it? Because it's not about what we speak in today's world. I have told yesterday also, students are not coming to us just for information. Information is available with them. They are coming to us in the hope that we will tell them in a way that they will love to listen and they will understand and we give them some new inputs. I remember I always struggled with using of stethoscope in my MBBS till my final year. I could not recognize those murmurs and those different kind of heart sounds. I was always trying to analyze, I was always trying to focus and listen to sound and could never understand. Then came a young professor, Dr. Satyanarayana, in my final year MBBS, and he gave me one clue. He told me, don't try to analyze the sound. Listen the sound like music. Identify the rhythm. And that gave me paradigm shift, different way of thinking. I don't have to analyze, I don't have to think. I have to listen and I have to just understand what is this music like. If this music is like this, that is that number. How your ears identify the music too. Something starts and suddenly you say this is the song. That's an innate ability and he gave me that clue. So it's not about I should tell them that okay, what are the murmurs, you will listen and it will happen. It's about telling him in a way that it works with the student, and that's where the role of today's teacher is there. So it's application, and these all things will not come if we don't sit and analyze. I will, in spite having the best intention, I will not be able to deliver. In spite or even after having the whole capability of delivering everything, I will not be getting to the right tools. Analysis is very, very important. Application of MI theory, multiple intelligence theory, Howard Gardner case, 8 intelligences. I'm sure you must have heard about it. If not, please go through it. These are some of the things we should know. Benjamin Bloom's revised taxonomy. This is an important tool. I'm going to tell this in very brief. I'm sure other speakers will tell you about these things. This is a very important tool for teachers to design. Yesterday I told you there are 6 different what I can say objectives of learning. It starts from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating and creating. Okay. For each of these 6 objectives, there are some verbs. If I want my students to focus upon analyzing, then there are some verbs, some phrases I should use in my teaching. That's what comes in that wheel. The next slide is about that. And then, what kind of assignment and tools are there with me to ensure that whether this guy has learned it, learned to analyze this or not. So, this is the wheel, work wheel. I'm sure if you Google you will get so many pictures of these. This is a very important tool I think personally, especially for the people who are in academics. And please don't hurry up learning this and applying this, because it's a very big thing. Step by step, if you start applying, if you start honing your mind, that today's my intention is to first, the student should understand it. What are the phrases I will use? I will use phrases like describe, explain, characterize. I will use these phrases. Respond, report, discuss. To see that they understand. If I want them to remember, I will use this one. State, underline, memorize, code, recognize, identify, define, list, name. If I want them to apply, then I will think about compute, simulate, demonstrate, control. Like that they have given us the phrases. Similarly, it has also given us the tool here. If I want to check whether the student has understood or not, I have to ask open questions, I have to see the case presentations has to be done, homework can be given, multiple choice questions can be done. So this is a great tool I think for all the teachers to see what we can do. In a very, very brief way, this work we can be used. Okay? Follow us. Whatever is written, please follow that. We are a little slow in responding. Okay. 13 seconds to get the rhythm. Okay. Now here, please appreciate one thing. I did not say which rhythm you should take. Did I ever say that you should clap in this rhythm? No. Some of you decided a rhythm and others followed. That's how change, or that's how psychology of mass. If you want change trickle down in the students, they'll happen. If you try to tell them, you do this and all of you should do this, it is not going to work. What we got to find out is, find out the critical mass. Few students who are able to do it, who are going to adhere to your advice. And just see that they do it and recognize them rightly. I have told this point yesterday, I will just reinforce it. Reinforce it, try to put into your memory. Why I am reinforcing? Because this is a very important tool. Build the right culture in the college. Suddenly some students start putting mustache and no beard, and you will see it will trickle down slowly. Suddenly somebody starts coming in the nicely dressed thing and in a very executive way, and you will see it will slowly spread. Seniors all come into this, juniors automatically come into that. That's the way to build a positive culture. The mistake what often people or management do is they try to put this thing on everyone. It will fail. We have to find out critical mass. Some of the people have suggested, I don't know whether there is a research on this or not, but they say that number of pi, 22 by 7, about 3 to 4% people, if they start doing it properly in a style, others will follow it. That's how it trends. There is a book called, anybody reads Malcolm Gladwell? Anybody? Malcolm Gladwell, his book is there, just forget his name. Not Blake. I'm sorry, forgetting the name. He is writing about that factor which creates stickiness. How trends change, how people change their mindset, how suddenly somebody adopts a hairstyle and it spreads in the masses. You know, that book is describing that psychology, that how can we bring these changes in the masses, how it should start. Gandhiji was master of it, just by holding salt, he told Namak Satyagraha. Namak, he used salt as creating a point for people to show their nationalism. Khadi became a symbol of nationalism. He was master in managing emotions. So this is what a teacher also has to learn, a management has to learn. If I want my college to adopt positive practices, never try to put it on everyone. Put it on few and recognize them. Give them respect. Tell them kya style hai in the class. Others will notice it automatically, don't have to tell. It will happen. Some people started clapping in a rhythm and others automatically caught. That's how human nature is. We have to work on in that fashion. Okay, let's move on. This is the last and one of the most important slides. This I have taken from a book called Good Teaching in Practice. And the book is authored by Dr. Ramakrishna Aduri. Some of you may be knowing this is a local person, Dr. Aduri. He has kept almost all the techniques of teaching into that one simple small book. Okay. So I refer it so many times. But this wonderful page tells about how should you plan your lesson. And it gives you a very, very clear idea about how will I start and then what kind of teaching aids can I use, what are my learning objectives, what are my learning outcomes in the bottom, what are home tasks, assessment, how will I assess. It is a kind of checklist for all of us to see that I can use effective learning teaching methods. It's a wonderful page, subject teacher's lesson plan. I have taken a picture of this and put it in my slide. So I think all of you can be using it. I don't have time to explain it, and most of the next few couple of sessions you have in which teaching techniques are going to be emphasized. I have just given you this material because I find it extremely useful. Okay, so with this we stop. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Bye, got on time. 1:15. One more thing I have done, that never keep the class beyond the stipulated time. Yesterday I accelerated because I started late, but then it's better to leave you happy rather than all looking on your watches for lunch and all that. Okay? Thank you so much. You are all wonderful. I have a YouTube channel and I just mentioned this. I'm not marketing it, it doesn't need marketing. The video has already become viral. I'm just telling it because it has helped many of the students and some of the teachers.